Hey everybody, it's Daphne with Laura Entertainment. We are sitting down with Jason Markowitz. How are you doing, Jason?
Hey, doing well. Thank you very much, Daphne. I appreciate this.
So what have you been into lately? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, what have I been into? Well, this has been a really interesting last few years. And I think if we look back on the time in COVID that changed so much of how everybody pretty much lives their lives, I can remember a few things about that time that really kind of set me on the path that I'm on right now. One of them was at that time, I was the ROTC commander at Sacramento State University. I had to learn how to do all kinds of things over Zoom I never thought I would have to learn how to do before, including teaching classes, teaching military training, and the like. But at the same time, I was also a community theater actor, and I was in the middle of a production of the dinner party at a theater called Theater in the Heights. And when they shut down everything for COVID, of course, they closed down the shows and we had to kind of look at what we were going to do next. And so I thought about voice acting. I took a course on audiobook narration, kind of worked it from there into general voice acting, built a production company that now we've done a few works of Edgar Allan Poe and a few other Christmas projects. And so we're doing audio drama production, and I've just completed my 30th audiobook. So, we've just kind of been moving that direction on the art side. And then, of course, now that COVID is over and we're back to full duty and not having to worry about Zoom as much, just still serving here with the military.
So how long have you been in?
Well, almost 26 years, commissioned in May of 1998 out of Fresno State University, Air Force ROTC out there. And I've had a lot of experiences along the way, but this coming May will be 26 years.
Wow, so you've been a little bit of everywhere. And when I was doing your page, I noticed it said combat. What was that like?
Well, there's a medal that I wear, the combat readiness medal, but so I want to make sure that we use the term combat right, and that's something that I know I'm very precise about because there are situations that you can be in that are in conflict zones, but they don't necessarily qualify as you being in combat. So, I'll look at it in a couple of ways. So I spent some time in Kosovo and spent some time in Bosnia. And each of those trips were after the main conflict had happened. It was part of a peacekeeping operation. I was patrolling the streets, looking for, what was going on in the area. We were part of a UN mission at the time. So a very different type environment, not conflict. Even to the time where in 2016, when I was stationed in Afghanistan, we took various, I think it was 37 different rocket attacks onto the base. We all had to flatten ourselves down on the ground, cover our heads, wait for the volleys to come in, and then as soon as the all clear was sounded, jump into a bunker and these kind of things. But those were more annoyances than they were anything else. I seem to find myself out on the running track most of the time that those things happened, and so I always found myself having to get on the ground. But I'm very cautious about using the term combat for a couple of reasons. One, I've had colleagues and friends who, have been in firefights with the enemy. I have a very good friend of mine who retired last year as a chief master sergeant who has a license plate, on his truck uh, that I won't tell you exactly what the plate says, but it essentially gives a kudos to an IED that hurt him, and so he was awarded the Purple Heart. So a variety of people that I know have been in life-threatening combat situations. I have been in combat zones, conflict zones, things like that. But I would never consider myself to have faced a lot of enemy fire to the point where I would say combat vet kind of thing.
So how many places do you think overseas you've been deployed? How many places have you been deployed?
Well, overseas, I've been in Korea for quite a few trips. I spent a year at Kunsan Air Base, and then I spent a little time over the course of about 3 years at Osan Air Base. I've been back to Daegu for a few week stint as a training officer and things like that. I was stationed in Italy, in which case I was forward deployed from there into Kosovo and Bosnia. Spent a little time in Turkey, did a little bit of a tour around some other areas there in the former Yugoslavia. And then I spent 6 months in Afghanistan. Had a few stop offs in various other places like Japan and Qatar and Kuwait and Germany and things like that, but not long term.
Wow. So uh, you're in, I mean, Air Force, you've flown these planes.
I have flown in them, but I'm not a pilot.
Oh, you're not a pilot. I was
No,
gonna say,
no.
what's it like to fly one of them bad boys anyway?
Well, I'll tell you what it's like to not throw up. Yeah, I know one of your previous guests that you had on one of these shows was very much into aviation and talked a lot about flying and things.
Yeah.
I have been a passenger on a lot of different aircraft, military aircraft. And I am very grateful to say that no, I have never thrown up in them, and that's been very important to me. Though I have been very close a couple of times, to the point of having the pilot tell me in one circumstance that I was looking pretty queasy, and if it really came down to it, he said, "Pull your T-shirt out and throw up down your flight suit because otherwise you're cleaning out my plane."
Oh my goodness. I could not imagine. I think it would be fun. I mean, I sit here and I watch all these films like Top Gun and all that where they're like
Oh
going
yes.
on, or Armageddon when they're taking
Hmm.
them up and sucking their eyes back into their head. To me, that looks fun. But I'm just
Right.
that type of person, where I would be down for whatever, you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Don't crash, we're good, you know.
Yes. No. Exactly. I'm glad every time it's been point A to point B, and we've been good all the way around.
Wow. So, do you ever see yourself retiring from the military?
Well, it's an interesting question. I think when you get this many years under your belt, even those that are not quite to the 20-year mark yet, but are really looking toward it. At this point, I could say I could put in my paperwork and retire tomorrow. Put in my paperwork tomorrow to retire if I wanted to. But
Yeah.
there are a few things I have still left to do that I want to do. It's a constant discussion with the family, make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to continuing military service. For anyone who is married, has kids, the family serves along with the member. It's as much a sacrifice for them as it is for us. In fact, probably more so. Been a lot of times that I've had to go places, and my wife has been at home with the kids. We did not get married so that she could be a single parent, but there's been a lot of opportunities to have to do that, and she's super strong. And it's a thankful to her that things are always taken care of, and she's amazing, and there's really no way that we on the military side could continue to do what we're doing if we were constantly concerned about what's happening at home, and the ability for the family to be taken care of, and that makes it a lot easier for us to do what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, it could work either way, regardless if it's the mother staying home with the kids or even vice versa,
Oh yes,
the father being home and the woman
that's right.
being in the military. So, I mean, being away like that, yeah, kind of does make you a temporary single parent, even though you're not
Oh
single,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But still, I see it's hard.
Hmm.
I was not as far as military related, but I was in those shoes as far as being a single parent years ago,
Hmm.
and that is hard. It
Yeah.
is, but having to take care of your children and constantly worrying about what's going on there, you know, it's definitely hard. And like you said, as far as retiring tomorrow, see, I've been trying to talk my son into getting out, but I just don't see it. He's 5, 6 years in, already talking about, getting out of the army and then re-enlisting into the Marines. And I'm just, man,
Oh.
you need to make up your damn mind what you're doing.
Right.
But I think his issue is he said that it's either his squad or Fort Hood, once you're stationed there, I guess they don't deploy. Is
Yeah,
what
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he told me, and I think that's where his issue is because he wants to be deployed,
Hmm.
and that's why he feels like now he has to change branches.
Well, the good news for him is there's plenty of time left. It's amazing how fast when you're at my part where you're looking at 26 years and you look back how quick that went. But I also remember at the 4, 5, 6 year mark, it seemed like forever until 20 showed up. So it's all perspective. And when you're looking at, I want to do this, I want to do that. Yes, they always say there's no time like the present, and do it while you're young, and a variety of things that they can have as slogans to go out and deploy. But each time that I've gone anywhere, it's been at a time where whatever experiences I had at that moment and what leadership opportunities that I had at that time were all right for the deployment I was going on. And so it's like you don't need to rush it. It'll happen. But I think patience is also a virtue in the military.
So, kids, as far as your children, have any of them thought about going into the military?
No, I don't think any of them will. My youngest is 12, well, soon to be 12. I don't foresee any of the older two going in, but jury's still out. I still remember when he graduated preschool and they asked him what he wanted to be, and he said a giant T-Rex. So,
Well,
so
what's funny about that actually is my daughter, um, right when she was getting out of high school, she wanted to be a veterinarian. So all of a sudden, I'm thinking, she's going to go to vet school and all this, and they were going to help her, as far as scholarships and all this other stuff.
mhm,
And then the next thing I know, it's, oh, I joined the army. How
yeah,
in the hell did you get from that to taking the ASVAB? You know what I mean?
right, yeah,
She got kind of mad because the army had told her, even her scores were high enough. She wanted to work with the animals to get them, to go out with the soldiers and possibly go out herself. Well, they put her in the kitchen.
oh,
I've never heard somebody complain so God, she was pissed, and honestly, I really couldn't blame her, because if I would enlist to give 4 years or 5 years of my life away, and I didn't end up with the job that I signed up for, and I'm in the kitchen making meals for all these people, yeah, I
yeah,
think I'd be a little pissed off about that too, you know? But
yeah,
she was the one who got out pretty quick after, I mean, after she served her time, she got out. She'd had kids already, she'd got married and while in, so she was just ready to be a mom after that,
hmm
you know. But I'm still
yeah,
trying to figure out how that 360 kind of happened from veterinarian to I'm in the army now.
yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up with stories from my grandpa from World War II. And so I kind of grew up around military stories and his life in the 853rd Engineer Aviation Battalion, what he did, things that he lived through and so forth. And so I think there was always a calling to do military service with me, but I didn't do junior ROTC in high school. We didn't have such a thing when I was in high school, in our school. When I went to college, I was not part of the military training program. I didn't join ROTC right away. I was kind of finding what it is that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Thought about trying to play college athletics. I thought about teaching. I thought about a variety of different things. And it was probably about a month and a half into my freshman year when I just found myself, drawn to possibly looking into a military commission. Started with the Army, didn't really find a lot of goodness there, and made my way over to the Air Force side. And, really the rest is history, as they say. But I remember standing in the hallway, and at the North Gym at Fresno State, there was a kind of a junction in the hallway that had the two signs, and it said Air Force ROTC with an arrow one way, Army ROTC with an arrow the other way. And I'm standing at that corner of that wall, and I'm looking up, and I'm just kind of standing there. And Master Sergeant Terry Logan comes out of the Air Force detachment, and he looks down the hall, and I still remember him calling out to me, "Boy, are you lost?" And I kind of was. And so he said, "Well, come on in." And so just walked me down the hall, and within 10 minutes I'm in talking with the detachment commander. Set me up with what the program was all about, got to think about it for a little while. Within the next week and a half or something like that, I made the decision that this was the way I was going to go, and um, got a
Wow.
scholarship a few months later to pay for the rest of my schooling, and then that's been 30 years ago.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So from military to voice acting,
Yes.
how does that work?
Yeah, right. That's an interesting transition. So I'll tell you a story in a couple of ways. One is when I was stationed in Italy in 2002 and 2003. I was actually living on a naval base in Naples, Italy, NAS Capodichino, and the chief dentist was big into theater, and he wanted to put on a production of R.A. Gurney's Love Letters. And so he did a casting call there across base. I had never done theater, didn't do it, and didn't do drama class in high school, nothing. But I figured, well, I don't have stage fright. I can get up there with anybody else. So I'll go ahead and audition. And I got the lead. So I went in as Andrew Makepeace Ladd III as my first official theatrical role, and really kind of had the theater bug at that point. I
Wow.
worked that into a lot of different independent film projects and a couple commercials and things like that over the next, 15, 16 years, whatever it was. And then when I got assigned to Beale Air Force Base in California, I started to do more community theater again, a lot more film work in Las Vegas and things. But then, once I got to Northern California, I started to do more theater. And after being in 8 or 9 plays at that point, I started to look into other ways to exercise the theatrical bug and then creativity and a passion for the arts and things like that. And I like to read. I enjoy stories. I like reading to the kids. I like doing voices when I read to the kids. A lot of different things. And so when the theaters weren't working anymore, as I said earlier, it was easy to make that move to maybe I can start looking at voice acting as an option. And so that's kind of where I've been, and I think it's been more of my focus for the last 3 years.
So what do you think about your kids going into something like that? Have they brought that up? Are they interested in that?
Well, yeah, funny you should say that. My daughter is in 2 of my productions. She had a great time. She played Lenore when I did an audio drama of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. And then when one of our productions that earned a Saturday Visitor Award nomination from the International Edgar Allan Poe Festival, she played one of the attendants in the Montresor House. And so she had a lot of lines at that point, and so was extremely nervous doing anything like that. But she enjoys getting out there. She's got a great personality. I think it's something that after a while she might really take an interest in.
What about the others?
Well, they're both hams. They jump around the house and do crazy things most of the time. They're big into sports, basketball especially. But my son's got a person. My middle son, he's 14. He's got a personality to beat the band, and so I think this wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say something theatrical or artsy might be something he's interested in later. But he's a freshman in high school, and so I think he's still got a ways to go. Well, he's a sophomore now. Goodness sakes. Yeah. I
I
know.
have one of those.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to believe, I mean, the kids are growing so fast. Yeah.
They don't really know what they're doing. I mean, like my daughter, I've had that conversation before. I tried to get her in front of the camera, and I'd even actually put her out for a role, and they selected her because she looks like Wednesday Addams.
Oh, yeah.
When she was a little bit younger, she looked dead on Wednesday Addams. And that's what they needed for their movie. And they got back to me and I put her in front of the director and she didn't want nothing to do with it. But voiceover and art and animation and stuff like that, that's where she excels. And I was
Yeah.
like, you don't have to be in front of the camera because I've been in front of the camera. That does not matter. I'm not going to force you to do something you don't want to do.
Right.
You're good at art, so I feel like your focus should be with the art, the animation, the drawing, and the voiceover. Then you don't have to worry about all eyes on you
Hmm.
because she's kind of shy. So when they're around that age, because she just turned 16, so I think that when they move up to about 16 is normally when they start changing their mind. When they're 14, they just really don't care. And then when they're into something, I think they just kind of move with it, and
Yeah.
got friends pulling them somewhere else in another direction. It's always the
Yeah.
friends, always.
Yeah. No. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So movie wise, movies, because I know you said you did some commercials. What
Yeah.
commercials and movies have you done?
Well, when I was in Las Vegas, I had an opportunity to do quite a few independent projects, but I think a couple of them that were the most fun to do. Um, One of them is still in the film circuit, right, film festival circuit right now, and it's called Adversary. And I got to play a fallen angel. Had a lot of great lines. We shot it in a little ghost town called Rhyolite, north of Las Vegas, and it's been doing amazing. We've had two, I think, ensemble award wins over the last couple of months. One at the Las Vegas or Los Angeles Film Festival, I think, and then one about a month prior or so. But last year, while it was still in the circuit, it won 17 or 18 times. So it's been doing really well, and that's a lot of fun. I like good writing. I like good characters. I've auditioned as everybody who auditions. You don't get everything you audition for, but you hope that when you are auditioning, that you can audition for a role that you really like. And I know that in theater, that's been something I've been very fortunate to do. Is I've been able to land roles that I really wanted to play, that really spoke to me, and had a great time doing them. And in film, I think I've had some of those too. But I also think that one of the films that I had no speaking role at all, it was the extra of extras, right? That was in there. It was I think I'm credited as diner patron, right? there.
I've got
Uh,
something like that. Don't feel bad.
oh, I know. I mean, it's great, but it was a movie called Billy Topet, Master Magician, and it was made by the famous magician Lance Burton, and it was a passion project of his, and he wrote it and he directed it, and he was involved in the casting and the whole thing, so you got to meet him, and he was very invested in, and he is just a personality that just is uncontrollable most of the time. And when you're on set, it's everything that everybody else can do, especially the production team, to tell them, okay, we've got it, we have to get this shot. You can talk to them later. He just wanted to get around and talk to everybody and meet everybody and thank us for being there and how important the project was to him. And he's very grateful for us being there. I mean, just a really nice, personable guy. And so we shot the scene in the diner for maybe 4 hours or something like that. And I was essentially interviewing somebody. I had a notepad in front of me, and I think we picked at the same salad for 4 hours, whatever it was. But it's just some of those experiences. Maybe it wasn't a lead role or something that you get recognized for per se, but I think on set that was really a watching the creativity, watching the personality, watching all of the production take place. That was just a great experience overall.
See, that's where they got me. They got me from uh, the first thing I did was an extra role. But it was 3 nights in the cold and I had so much fun. And
Mhm.
I mean, I get it, what sucks is because when you're an extra, you're not going to get credited, which really sucks because you were there too. You were working, you were just as cold as everybody else,
Yeah.
for the same time, but you never get that credit, which, I get it. It's the way it works. But nobody's going to be yelling down the street, "Hey, aren't you the extra in such and such movie?" You know what I mean? Come
Right.
here, let me get your autograph.
Yeah. I know.
That's never gonna happen.
You were the diner patron.
No, you go. You did a
That's
damn good
right.
job with the salad.
Yep. Yep.
They're never gonna do that, but it's fun, and I really think that's the way you can actually tell if this is the industry that you want to be in.
Hmm.
When
I agree.
they're doing it, because there's so many times. And my favorite part of every single movie, when they add them in, and it really makes me mad when they don't add them in, the bloopers.
Oh yeah. I
I
love it.
love the damn bloopers. I will sit there and watch them bloopers, I swear, forever. I don't care, because they crack me up better than the movie, because you are actually seeing what's really happening. And that's where I fell in love, between the bloopers and the extra stuff. I had fell in love with it. And it's just so much fun. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Proposal.
Oh yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Sandra Bullock. Yeah.
Then the ending part, when they're in the office at the very end and the guy starts rambling on about what side of the bed does she sleep on? The left, what side do you sleep on? What the hell? Who the hell asks those kind of questions? You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
stuff like that that cracks you up to make, that just draws you into wanting to do it, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What was your job after salad eating diner patron?
Well, I think that one was right before the commercial that I shot, which was for a casino that actually had representation in Las Vegas, but it was a casino on a Seminole reservation in Florida. And so it was a casino called Coconut Creek, and it was a relaunch. The casino, I guess, had either gone belly up or they were renovating of some sort. It was a grand reopening, right, for the Coconut Creek Casino. And so they hired they did a casting call for a bunch of people, and I went in. I earned a spot as they casted two parts, one male, one female lead, and we each did what they called the humdrum commercial. And it was you look everything you could possibly do in a day that was boring. It was ironing, watering the grass. We took different shots of flopping down on the bed and falling asleep, and but it's all just individual. So my single life during the day, how boring and repetitive the whole thing is. And then once you get to the casino, then it's life, right? So everything is excited, and so we were able to shoot this 15-second commercial, which took 8 hours in three different locations to do, starting at a golf club in oh gosh, I think it was on the south side of Las Vegas, all the way over to what looked like a house out of Florida somewhere, even with the pink flamingos in the yard, where we shot a lot of the scenes, on the eastern part of Las Vegas. But all of the movement and everything else, just do 15 seconds. We were there for a little over 8 hours doing that, but it was hilarious. It's one of my uh, favorite bits on film of me is just that commercial is a lot of fun.
So this was for a commercial in Florida?
It was for a casino in Florida, but we filmed it in Las Vegas. Yeah.
I didn't even know they had casinos in Florida.
Yeah, it's on an Indian reservation. So yeah, they've got the casinos like that too.
Wow, I never knew
Mhm.
that. I didn't know that I mean, I know that they have them on, what the hell is that? The boardwalk
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
down in New York. Because I grew up in Vegas, which is funny that, and I love the casinos in Vegas. I am dying to get
Hmm.
there to see some of those casinos because I really want to. I did find out that they're blowing up the
The
Mirage.
Tropicana. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I really want to go. They're taking the Tropicana out too, or they already did? Serious?
Tropicana, it's scheduled for demolition so they can build a new ballpark for the A's. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
bullshit. That's a
I know.
that makes me mad. I was there when they blew up the dunes.
That's exactly what I posted on Facebook. I remember that because my dad and I played at the Dunes golf course there.
I love
Yeah, so it was really sad.
Yeah, it was an older one, but I mean, I want to see the oh my God, what the hell is the name of that? The Italian one. What is
Bellagio.
Yes. Okay, and I want to see oh my God, the one with the fountains. I can't even think of the damn names because I haven't been out there.
Oh,
Last
the
I was there.
Venetian.
Yeah, the Venetian. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and Caesars has a really nice fountain in front of it too now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I seen that
Hmm.
when Evil Knievel jumped that years
Hmm.
ago. I've seen that. I mean, I think I was out there when Evil Knievel jumped that. But I mean, they have all them new ones. And one of my favorites was the Mirage because of the fountains outside. And it just really makes me mad that they're blowing, they're getting rid of some good ones. Like when I
Yeah.
was out there last time, I think it was right after the MGM got done.
Hmm.
That's how long it's been since I've been
Yeah.
out there. So I'm dying to see some of the stuff there.
Yeah. Now we lived there from '09 until late or early 17, so about 8 years. Yeah, that we lived out there, and it's a typical military family, type thing. Multiple different houses, three kids born in three different hospitals, two different states. Kind of the way it goes. Yeah.
Did you ever happen in Vegas when you lived out there? Did you ever go four-wheeling?
No, never did. No.
Yeah, there's a good place to go four-wheeling out there. Everybody thinks, when you have kids that Vegas is really not the spot to actually raise those children. But honestly, when you live there, it's a little different than, just visiting or coming to see hotels because there is actually stuff out there for kids to do. And
Mhm.
we used to go four-wheeling all the time out by Nellis Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best times I ever had in my life because those dunes just
Hmm.
go like that. It's just so much fun out there.
Yeah, we've seen them, but we haven't done
Oh,
them.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Hit them kind of sideways though, because you don't want to tumble,
Yeah. Yeah,
which you
for
will.
sure. Yeah. No, Las Vegas was where my daughter learned to play softball and won some championships out there, and I got a chance to coach her team for a few years. So yeah, I know what you mean. Great athletic programs, out there. First place, my wife became a competitive ballroom dancer, was out there in Las Vegas. So just a lot of things for the family to do. We lived, 20 minutes away from the strip. So, Vegas is so large, you don't need to live right there on Las Vegas Boulevard. You think of everywhere else that's around there, and there's a lot of good residential areas too.
Did you live out towards Santa Fe?
No, it was the other way. We were up in Lone Mountain.
I lived for a while off of Rainbow and Westcliff.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're probably 10 minutes from there, or give or take.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'd always well, I did twice because when I was younger, I figure skated for a
Okay.
couple of years. And when I got to high school, which I went to Cimarron Memorial, I don't know.
Oh, I played baseball there. Yeah.
Yeah, Cimarron,
Uh-huh.
at school, well, I would actually
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I played at Centennial. We had a few tournaments where I played adult baseball, and we played at Centennial. Yeah, I don't know if I ever played at Cimarron. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have a bus line that runs there, and I think it was like fourth period or something. I skipped school twice. Well, those last classes, and I got on the bus so I could go ice skate. I'm like, well, I had this thing, so nobody really ever found out I had to go there anyway afterwards, but I just kind of cut a little early so I could get there quicker, you
No,
know.
of course.
But Vegas is actually a pretty fun place. It is.
Yeah, we enjoyed it for sure.
So you're living where now? In California?
Yeah, so my wife and kids are there in California. I'm stationed at Shaw Air Force Base here in South Carolina. So we're unfortunately we're geographically separated, but we still have our place there in California, and that's where the family is.
So how do you like California?
It's all right. I mean, we enjoy the area that we're in. My wife and I both grew up in a mountain town in the southern part of Central California. About 4,000 feet up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. So we grew up in the state, but we've been so many other places since then that we don't consider ourselves Californians, but we're living there north of Sacramento, and I think the area that we're in has it's a very nice, quiet neighborhood. The kids enjoy playing with the neighbor kids. We don't worry about their safety. We don't worry about break-ins. The area around there is safe, and it's nice, and I think it's kind of feels like the place we grew up, realistically.
Yeah.
So I think that part's really nice, and there's a lot of military presence in the area, with Beale Air Force Base being like 15 minutes from our house, and we're about 45 minutes to an hour away from Travis Air Force Base. So there's just a lot of military in the area, and I think that definitely helps.
So how you like South Carolina?
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I came here from Langley Air Force Base in Southern Virginia, and it was a place that I've never been stationed before. I was trying to think whether or not, outside of just a stopover at an airport, if I'd actually ever been through South Carolina before, and I don't know that I have. So this was very new to me, from the word go, and I really like it. I think the area here around Shaw with Sumter, it's like it's a small town, but it's big at the same time. It has a lot of the stores that you would think. It has a lot to you need a Walmart, a Lowe's, a Home Depot, a Staples. I mean, all the big stores that you would think of in a big city. They're all right here, but yet it's still a small town in South Carolina, and it's the area I'm living in is pretty quiet. So the humidity, though, I don't like.
Really, it
Yeah.
gets real humid down there in South Carolina?
Very, yeah. In the summer, it was very humid, but at the same time, we've had probably 4 seasons in the last 9 days. We're even had to the point where I went out in the morning, had to scrape ice off the windshield, and the next day it was 75. So it's the varying temperatures, especially around this early part of the year, have been unique.
You don't want to go to Ohio.
Yeah.
That's what I told somebody. Uh, it's true. I am sorry. I don't care who says what about the weather here. It is true. We can have 5 inches of snow one day,
Hmm.
55 degrees the next day, 80 degrees. And then guess what? We're right back down to 9 degrees out of
Yeah.
no. Or
Hmm.
it goes the opposite direction. It'll be 85 degrees or 80 degrees. And then all of a sudden, the next day we've got 5 inches of snow. This weather, it makes no sense. Mother Nature is a bitch in Ohio.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I mean, if you ever got stationed around here, trust me, you'd be like, oh God, get me,
Yeah.
you
Just
know.
like most people that spent, a length of time in the military, you tend to find yourself at Wright-Patterson more than once. So, I've had plenty of TDY short-term trips up there to Wright-Patterson, but never stationed there full time.
That's a cool place.
Yeah. Oh, the Air Force Museum there is amazing.
I am dying to go,
Yes.
actually. I really want to go to that. Yeah, but getting anybody to leave the house around here is kind of, I I don't want to go by myself. I
Yeah.
would if I had to, but I would
Right.
prefer to go with somebody else just to go because I like older pictures and I would probably be taking a lot of pictures to be able to make them black and white or whatever. That's just the kind of stuff I like to do on the side.
Yeah.
I've got this bad thing about black and white photos. I just love black and white photos. And I think going to them older places like that and seeing those older planes and stuff just be awesome.
Yeah. I got a chance to go there, no, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. But the amount of work they did on that museum and the way it's laid out now versus what it was 15 to 20 years ago, it's just beautiful. And the way that it moves between different parts of military history, and takes you through the space program and the missiles, and then of course you have the planes, the static planes, and things that are out there to see. It's just so well done. It's something everybody should go see if they're fans of aviation, fans of military history, fans of the Air Force, whatever. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of great things in that museum, and they did a beautiful job.
Just go check
Yeah.
go check out the museum. You live in Ohio, you got to go there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
probably about 45 minutes from me. It's not too bad.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
really not too bad, but I really want to go. But I wasn't sure, if it's open to the public or if you have to be, military affiliated.
No, it's open. Yeah, it's open to the public. You can get go to the museum gate, and yeah, you can get on there.
Cool. Definitely cool. So
Yes.
anything coming up, any bigger projects, anything more that you're going to be doing?
Yeah, especially in the voice acting, and audio drama production world, there's always a lot going on. I'm regularly voicing roles for other people's podcasts. I do quite a few different accents and voices, and so it's nice to be able to get work in a variety of different ways. But I'm also working on Mask of the Red Death, which is my company's production that we've been working on. We recorded the lines, gosh, probably more than a year ago now, but it's been taking kind of a back seat to some other projects that had to be done. But I'm contracted with audiobooks all the way out into April at this point. So there's a lot of work on the horizon.
Well, I mean, I guess it works out better for you as far as the voiceover because voiceover can be done anywhere.
It can,
Yeah.
right. Hmm.
And I mean, versus if you were needed on a film set in your station, it's not going to be as easy for you to get there.
No, that's very true. And I know that I have a professional booth at my house in California, but with me, I have what I lovingly call my blanket fort. So it's audio dampening, sound dampening blankets that are all around a PVC frame, and I've got my microphone set up in there, and the computer and everything else is outside of that little space, but it gets the job done and makes a nice sound. So, we've been able to continue doing that, even though I don't have the professional booth that I can't take that with me.
I know. Sucks. I hate it when I get to travel somewhere and I know I'm gonna need stuff and then I can't take it. So it's just like you take the minimum amount of stuff that you know that you're absolutely going to need, but then when you get to where you're going, you realize, damn, I left something here or something's left behind.
Yeah,
You got to get it again.
absolutely.
It's just traveling around, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you say hello to your wife and kids. Give them a
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, Diana, Victoria, Andrew, Nicholas. Love you, and hope you're watching.
right. Your dad's doing a damn good job. You guys should be proud.
Thank you.
And we will wrap this up for sure because I don't want to keep you too long. Anyway, and I'm definitely going to thank you for your service.
Thank
26
you.
years, long time.
Thank you. Yes.
Seriously. And everybody, thank you for watching. We will see you next time. See you later.